Black magic versus white magic. Is there such a thing as good and E? Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, and this is Occult and Magic, what science won't admit. In the first video, we defined the foundational terms, occult, magic, and science, and explored how each system emerged, collided, and was culturally weaponized. Now we go deeper into one of the most misunderstood dichotomies in spiritual discourse, black magic versus white magic. For centuries, these terms have been used to label practices, judge intention, and separate good witches from bad ones. But as with most polarities in this field, the public understanding has been flattened by religious moralism, media distortion, and oversimplified binaries. This lesson will clarify not just what the terms black and white magic really mean, but how to evaluate spiritual power by source, intent, and consent, not just aesthetic or reputation. Let's start with a basic truth. Magic is not inherently good or evil. It is a tool, a neutral force, like fire, electricity, or money. Its effects depend on who wields it, how, and why. Just as a scalpel can heal or harm depending on the surgeon's motive, so too can magical force be used to restore harmony or violate free will. The common division between white and black magic was not present in all ancient traditions. It arose primarily in post-Christian European occultism, and even then, the terms were debated and context-specific. In most pre-Christian systems, magic was judged not by color, but by function. Was it healing or harmful? Empowering or enslaving? Did it honor cosmic order, or did it bend natural laws for personal gain at others' expense? These questions are more important than labels. That said, let's explore what these terms have come to mean historically and how they've evolved. White magic, traditionally, refers to practices that align with the flow of nature, honor divine will, and uphold spiritual law. It includes healing, protection, divination, cleansing, and energy alignment. White magic practitioners often work with natural elements, ancestral spirits, planetary forces, and deities considered benevolent. Their work focuses on restoring balance, revealing truth, and facilitating growth. Importantly, white magic respects consent and sovereignty, a core principle that distinguishes it from darker paths. Black magic, by contrast, refers to the manipulation of energy for domination, inversion, deception, or control. It can include curses, binding spells, energy siphoning, illusion work, and rituals designed to subjugate free will. The intent is often selfish or coercive, even if justified by the practitioner. What makes black magic dangerous is not that it uses force. It's that it imposes force without respect for natural alignment or individual choice. It twists the flow of spiritual energy for personal or tribal advantage, often at the expense of others' health, clarity, or soul integrity. Historically, both types of magic were practiced in parallel. In ancient Egypt, priests performed high-level healing and ritual work in the temples by day, while necromancers and sorcerers in secret orders might invoke death or possession rites by night. In Sumer and Babylon, star magicians developed astrology and numerology for divine timing, while others used the same knowledge to manipulate the harvest or harm enemies. In medieval Europe, cunning women and herbalists were condemned for using folk remedies, sometimes labeled as witchcraft, while aristocratic magicians in secret lodges summoned spirits to gain wealth or silence rivals. The same symbols, the same rituals, used in very different ways. The distortion began when dominant religious institutions, especially the Catholic Church, sought to outlaw all unauthorized spiritual practice. They did not distinguish between white or black magic. All magic outside of church-sanctioned ritual was labeled satanic. However, inside their own orders, they preserved magical systems like exorcism, sacred geometry, relic veneration, and even alchemical medicine. This is part of what we must now recognize. Power does not fear magic. It fears magic in the hands of the uninitiated. So how do we draw the line? What actually defines whether a magical act is white or black? The three key markers are intent, source, and consent. Let's begin with intent. Why is the practitioner doing what they're doing? Are they healing a wound, protecting a child, or seeking clarity? Or are they trying to dominate a partner, punish a rival, or acquire fame at any cost? Many people mistake emotional desperation for moral purity. Just because someone feels hurt or threatened does not make their magical retaliation just. In spiritual law, intention sets the frequency, and that frequency determines the karmic return. There is no loophole in cosmic justice. Next is source. Where does the power come from? White magic draws from natural forces, ancestral wisdom, divine resonance, and universal law. Its results are slow, sustainable, and harmonizing. Black magic often draws from distorted egregores, parasitic spirits, blood sacrifice, or planetary inversion currents. Its results may be fast, but they come with cost. The more distorted the source, the more dangerous the dependency. One of the great red flags in any magical practice is whether the user becomes addicted to power instead of aligned with source. And finally, the most overlooked principle: consent. White magic respects boundaries. It does not intervene unless invited. It does not violate another person's timeline, energy field, or mind. Even protection work can be distorted if it preemptively harms others based on fear rather than clarity. Black magic disregards consent entirely. It assumes authority where there is none. It inserts intentions into another's field through spells, rituals, surveillance, or psychic binding. Even love spells, when cast on unsuspecting people, are a form of spiritual assault. Just because the packaging is romantic doesn't mean the energy isn't predatory. Let's give a concrete example. Suppose a woman is in love with a man who is married. She casts a spell to draw him to her, visualizing him leaving his wife and starting a new life with her. She doesn't use blood or demons, just candles and affirmations. On the surface, this looks harmless. But energetically, she is manipulating the will of another, violating the marriage contract, and invoking outcomes that may ripple harm through multiple timelines. That's not white magic. That's disguised black magic, even if she believes her feelings are pure. Now suppose another woman learns her child is being bullied and lights a candle every day for protection, calls on guardian spirits, and visualizes her child surrounded by light and safety. She does not name the bully. She does not ask for vengeance. She only works to strengthen the shield. This is white magic, not because it's gentle, but because it's protective and sovereign. She is not attacking the attacker. She is reinforcing the boundary. What about gray magic? Many practitioners use this term to describe actions that fall between categories, perhaps defensive banishment spells, ancestral justice work, or protective bindings. These practices can be debated. Some traditions allow proportional force, but the core rule remains: never override another soul's free will for your own gain, and never forget that spiritual action is a boomerang, not a straight line. It's also important to note that some of what we call black magic has been falsely labeled due to racism, colonization, or cultural ignorance. Voodoo, Santeria, Palo Mayombe, and other African diaspora traditions have been deeply demonized by European colonizers. But many of these systems include both light and dark paths, just like Christianity, Kabbalah, or ceremonial magic. The intent of the practitioner still determines the alignment. This brings us to a critical point. Aesthetics do not determine morality. A practitioner dressed in white robes can still perform dark rituals. A tattooed witch working with bones might still be healing trauma through ancestral reverence. Symbols, colors, and tools mean little without context. That's why spiritual discernment is more important than spiritual performance. So how can you protect yourself from black magic? First, develop your spiritual hygiene. Cleanse your energy field regularly. Seal your aura. Cancel contracts you did not consciously agree to. Know your own frequency, so you can detect when something foreign is entering. Second, observe ritual timing. Many black magic rituals are conducted during new moons, eclipses, solstices, and high occult dates. Be cautious during these windows. Don't consume energy from mass media events timed to these cycles. Third, never ignore your intuition. If someone's work, words, or rituals feel invasive, coercive, or energetically sticky, they probably are. Trust your knowing. And finally, never assume that light work is safe just because it's labeled high vibration. The most powerful black magicians often disguise themselves as teachers of love, light, and unity. Their signature move is bypassing spiritual law in the name of collective good. The real path of magic, white, sovereign, and aligned, is one of respect, responsibility, and resonance. You do not get to manipulate reality without consequence, but you do have the right to create, protect, and align your field with universal harmony. In the next video, we'll explore divination and the reading of the unseen. We'll cover tarot, runes, alchemy, and more, and explain why these systems are not superstition, but encoded systems for decoding energy. You don't need a wand to do magic. You need clarity, alignment, and lawful intent. And now, you have it. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas. 11 times published author and School of Soul has just released one of our most requested deep dives, the Magic and Occult series. This series is not for the faint of heart. It's for those who know there's more going on beneath the surface, behind the media, behind the family, behind the system. This series breaks the spell and hands you the map. The Magic and Occult series includes over 200 videos on 1. Entertainment or ritual. Decoding mainstream media as mass spellwork. 2. Occult families. Spot them. How generational magic and ritual lineage hides in plain sight. 3. Occult symbolism. The signs, seals, and signals used to claim, curse, or command. 4. Esoteric symbolism. Layered meaning, sacred geometry, and encoded messages. 5. Law is magic. How contracts, courts, and language are rituals of power. 6. Spells and spirits. What magic really is, and what happens when you use it. 7. Covens and lodges. Where modern ritual happens, and who's involved. 8. Destiny swapping. How rituals steal timelines, talent, or soul contracts. 9. Energy harvesting. Spiritual parasitism, and how to seal your field. 10. The clairs. Your intuitive senses. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and more. 11. Become magical. How to strengthen your gifts, protect your mind, and wield conscious force. 12. Miracles are real, divine intervention, faith portals, and supernatural reversals. 13. The chosen ones. what sets them apart and why they're always targeted. 14. The black sheep, the generational breaker, often isolated by design. 15. Targeted individuals, spiritual and technological targeting of aware souls. 16. Gang stalking, organized spiritual and psychological warfare. This is the most revealing, most spiritually advanced, and most protective series SOS has ever released. If you've ever felt something was off about this world, this will confirm it and prepare you for what comes next. Your protection begins with knowledge. Join the SOS School of Sos Vault.